begin with Psalms 90, where he says, we live our lives as a tale that is told. It was my intention to share with you that what I liked about my friend and colleague, Gus T. Ridgel, is that he was a gentleman and a scholar. It was not a time he did not visit his home and there were not books scattered about. He could recall very well the lessons of economics, the lessons of history, political science, and the nature of the institutions which we serve. And as I thought about that, I said I would that I had began my tenure here writing a book about Gus. And I said if I were to write a book about Gus, it would have to have at least 4 chapters. The first chapter that I find in Dr. Ridgel's life is that of his family. Certainly Ms. Bolden, Ms. Pritchard, all of those, and we heard many, many stories of Ms. Gertrude. I had the privilege of serving in the very same office that Dr. Ridgel served at Southern University System as Vice President of Academic Affairs before I came to Kentucky State University. So my first purpose and intent was to find out who this man was. And each time I would leave my home then at Cole Harbor to venture down into College Park, I would realize his love for family, not just biological, but fictive kin. There are many people to whom he was not biologically related, who lived just as his brother. It reminds me then that David recalls in Psalm 39, Lord, make me to know my name and the measure of my days, what it is that I might know how frail I am. For you, God, have made my days as but a hand's breadth, and you have entreated me to incline my heart to wisdom. Dr. Ridgel was a family man. Not only was Dr. Ridgel a family man, the second chapter I would write would be about friends. Dr. Ridgel was a man of many friends. The fact that we were gathered here this morning in Sunset Memorial Garden Chapel at 12 noon, high noon, in the middle of our day, is to talk about friendship of Gus. There are those who come from East St. Louis. I ran from Lexington at my cardiologist to check my heart so I could be here on time because not only was he my colleague, he was my friend. He gave friendly advice and friendly counsel. He was the man who you could go to in confidence. There are some who call themselves friends, but you have to be careful because they'll repeat every word you say. There's not a word that I've said to Gus that I've ever heard repeated in my time at Kentucky State. That's what I call a true friend. Not only was Dr. Ridgel a family man and a friend of many friends, he was a freighter. We can tell by those assembled today that he was a fraternity man. He was a man of Alpha Phi Alpha, a man of Sigma Pi Phi Boule. He was the one who knew that goodwill was the monarch of our house. Men unacquainted enter, shake hands, exchange greetings, and depart friends. Yes, our friend, Gus Ridgel, was a family man, he was a friendly man, and he was a fraternity man. But I have to close with the reminiscence that I heard the great preacher bring. And not only was Gus a family man, a friendly man, and a fraternity man, Dr. Ridgel was a man of faith. And I'm so excited that he served not just as chair of the Board of Trustees, but had a private faith walk with his Lord and Savior. It was written once by Gladys Knight and then re-recorded by James Cleveland that if anyone should ever write my life story, for whatever reason there might be there between each verse of pain and glory, Jesus is the best thing that ever happened to me. And so Dr. Ridgel has many goals and many accomplishments, many accolades and many attributes, but he was a son of the true and living God. I close these remarks in recollections of this great, marvelous man who needs no more accolades. He does not need prominence, plaudits, or promotion. He walks by faith, leads by love, and labors with power. He was a man of wisdom, a man of courage, and a man of the highest integrity. that he, just like us, have an advocate with the Father. And when I prepared to share with you the fact that our friend Dr. Ridgel was a man of family, a man of friends, a man of fraternity, and a man of faith, I said I would close by telling you that you have the same advocate that Gus had. And when I read that, I saw in the margin of my Schofield Bible that the Greek word for advocate was parakletos. And I said that I would come and say to you, Miss Betty, that Gus had a parakletos. And I said, but if I give you the parakletos, you might not understand it. And so I thought last night that I would need to paraphrase the parakletos. And I would need to share with you some other words. And I want you to know that even in this hour of grief and bereavement, we have a parakletos. And to paraphrase that, we have a paramedic who will revive us and restore us even after this season of loss. We have a parasol that will umbrella us from the griefs and vicissitudes of life. And if we remember that paraclete, we will one day join Gus in paradise. I thank you for our time with Dr. Ridgel. I thank you that he was a family man. I personally thank him for his friendship and his fraternity. And as a child of God, I thank God for his faith. May God bless you and keep you during this season and the year.